Hey guys, how's it going today? So today we have a interesting scenario. So we're going to go through how easy it is for Democrats to win through the Electoral College. So as we all know, Donald Trump was elected 306 to 232 in the 2016 general election, but that came as a surprise to many people. The Democratic Party is automatically poised to win the general election based off where the Electoral College stands, and the 2016 election was not one of those cases. Past elections were some of the cases with the Rust Belt where it was a toss-up, but under the Obama era and under the Clinton era, the Rust Belt was solid Democratic, and there was reasoning behind that. The only reason why it flipped was because George Bush was a moderate. The only reason why it became competitive during 2000 and 2004 was because Jeb Bush was a moderate. The reason why it went for Trump in 2016 was because the Rust Belt was tired of voting for Democrats, and there were a number of other factors, but we're not going to go into that. We're going to talk about how easy it is for Democrats to win the election and how easy it is for one person to win the election without winning the majority of states. So, as we all know, California is a reliably Democratic state. So, let's give California to the Democratic Party. Let's give them New York, another state that's reliably Democratic. Then we'll give them Illinois, along with New Jersey. So, that puts them automatically at 118 electoral votes by winning 4 states. And then we're going to have to factor in a number of other states. So let's take Pennsylvania, for example. Reliably Democratic up until 2016. And then we're going to have to think about, sure, it went for Trump, but let's say a Democrat wins it in this example. Let's say a Democrat wins in Florida as well. Winning these 6 states alone puts them at 167 electoral votes. All of the states that are currently blue are all states that Barack Obama won in the 2012 general election. We're going to keep going through this. A state he won in 2012 and 2006. In 2012 and 2008. Ohio. Another state that he won was Virginia, but we're not going to go to that one just yet. Just looking at this map now, Democrats have a huge majority, and these are all states that they won. I mean, if you factor in all the number of other Republican states, sure they can win 3 of these states. But that still doesn't put them at the number that they need to get to. Democrats have by far a far easier pathway to victory than Republicans have, and that's a harsh reality for the Republican Party. So let's say Michigan goes Democratic. Typically, Democratic just went for Trump in one election. It's considered a toss-up state, but it's not going to be safe red or safe blue really anytime soon. But I still think that will go to the Democratic Party after 2020 or possibly even in 2020. So Michigan, 16 electoral votes goes to the Democratic Party. Them winning these states alone puts them at 201 electoral votes. And remind you, these are all states that Barack Obama carried in the 2012 general election. So we'll just keep going through this. North Carolina, a state Barack Obama won in 2008, deemed a swing state by many. And as of right now, that one is still a swing state, and Trump's approval ratings are not so high in that state. Along with Georgia, a swing state from 2016, that one could very well flip to the Democratic column if Donald Trump is not liked by the Republicans and the Democratic Party. But the final state that actually makes or breaks this 270 for the Democratic Party, one state so far Democrats have not won in the general election, and that was the state of Georgia. Now the state of Texas. Let's say Texas somehow flips with the Latino vote. They are automatically at 270 electoral votes. By winning these 11 states, I believe it is 11, these 11 states, they automatically win the presidency. They could lose every other state in gray on your map, and they're not going to lose every other state, but they're not likely to win Texas. So let's put Texas back in the column. So let's give them the northeastern states. With these states alone, they don't need Oregon. They don't need the states on the West Coast, like they typically do in other election years, like Hillary Clinton would have if she wanted to win the presidency. Right now, they are Vermont's 3 electoral votes away from being elected president. And the Democratic Party could win these states, all states that they have won, with the exception of Georgia, which is trending more Democratic in recent election years. It's trending more Democratic, which is not good news for the Republican Party. But let's say they lose Georgia, right? We're looking at a map where the Democratic Party is already at 254, more than Hillary Clinton got in the 2016 general election, by winning these few states. So let's say they win Virginia, which was expected. They just need to win D.C., which is going to go to them regardless of who the Democratic nominee is, and they win an election. So they don't need any of these other states that are on the outlying parts of the United States. And this is a harsh reality for the Republican Party, because the Republican Party could play similar tactics by sweeping all the Midwestern states, but then they have to flip states that are harder for them to flip. It's harder for a Republican to flip New York than it is Colorado, but they would still have to flip Colorado if they're going to play the same type of tactic. I mean, they could win all the remaining number of these states, and they still have to flip a reliably Democratic state or a swing state that I've given to the Democratic Party. They could flip a state like North Carolina, but is it likely for them to flip North Carolina and carry all these other states, yet the Democratic Party loses Washington and Oregon while winning in Florida and North Carolina and and Ohio and Pennsylvania? It's not likely. As of right now, the Democratic Party has by far more pathways to victory. Let's look in the 2008 general election. This one was Obama's wave election with 365 electoral votes, where he even carried North Carolina and Indiana. Now let's take a close look at Wisconsin. There are a lot of Democratic counties in Wisconsin in the 2008 general election. We can compare, it trended more Republican in recent election years. Barack Obama won almost all of the counties, so let's look in Wisconsin as of right now. As of the Mitt Romney versus Barack Obama election. As you can see, there's a little more red in the northern part of the state. Now let's look at the 2016 general election in the state of Wisconsin, where Donald Trump narrowly edged out Hillary Clinton by around 22,000 votes. Let's look there. There is a lot more red than there was in the 2008 general election. Look at the red on that, and then look at the red in the 2008 election. This is not good news for the Republican Party. Understanding the fact that Trump may have that appeal to the Rust Belt voters, if the Rust Belt flips back, it'll be extremely hard for them to win future elections. All of the states in blue have gone to Democrats once or twice within the past, with the exception of North Carolina. All these states have gone to Barack Obama twice, in 2008 and in 2012. All of these states, and that's not adding in Wisconsin, Minnesota, Oregon, Washington, Nevada, New Mexico, Colorado, states that went for Hillary Clinton and also went for Barack Obama, except for Wisconsin. So all of these states, regardless of where the Republicans win in each number of these states, the Democrats would still win the election. And that's why the electoral map is favored for Democrats to win. Now, that's not saying that it's going against the majority of the country. But what that is saying is that Democrats are more condensed into certain states, and then when Republicans flip them, it completely throws away their pathway to victory. If we're looking at this now, Hillary Clinton lost a number of these states, but Barack Obama won all of these states. So there's a huge difference. If the Democratic Party can use that Obama factor and win over elections, they don't need to worry about Wisconsin anymore. They can merely flip the state of North Carolina, which is trending more Democratic, while the state of Wisconsin is trending more Republican. They can flip the state of Florida, which was not reliably Democratic or reliably Republican, while Wisconsin was reliably Democratic and had more of a swing. So if Wisconsin continues that trend, it should be around 5% GOP in 2020. But if Florida can flip, then they don't need to worry about Wisconsin. They don't need to worry about Minnesota. They don't need to worry about any other of the states than the ones filled in blue. And they can win these states through simple ground game tactics and actually focusing on states instead of forgetting about them after the Democratic primary. So let's say, for example, we take away all the Trump states from 2016. There would be some pathways to victory for a Democratic campaign. Let's leave Florida in, but let's take away all the other states that Trump won in 2016. Well, the Democrats would still be able to win in New Hampshire. They would be able to win in Maine. So if we give them Maine, that puts them at 209. So let's say they win all the other states that they were supposed to win. Washington, Oregon, states that I hadn't filled in, Hawaii, reliably Democratic states, New Mexico, we're already at Hillary Clinton's numbers, Colorado, and Nevada. So that still doesn't quite put them at the 270 mark. But we have to add Minnesota, and now they're nearing that 270 mark. They now just need to flip one more state. And almost a lot of these states were very close, or a lot of the Rust Belt states were very close, either in 2016, and they were reliably Democratic states in past election years. Meaning Democrats don't have to do as much work as Republicans do in order to win future elections. The changing demographics favor the Democratic Party, and that's a harsh reality for the Republican Party. They're going to have to realize that Latino, African American voters that are going into more condensed states like Georgia, Texas, Arizona, and increasing the population, increasing its electoral vote total, by 2024, Texas will likely have 42 electoral votes. That may be good news for the Republican Party as the Texas stands right now, but Texas will probably be a Democratic state in 2024. So it's not necessarily good news. Overall, the electoral map is poised to help the Democratic Party because they have the majority of the country on their side in these states. Their registration is at 80 million. I mean, if you look at the Democratic Party's registration numbers, they have 80 million. Yet Hillary Clinton got 65 million votes, while the Republican Party is behind in that. The majority of the country is Democratic and independent. That's a harsh reality for both sides of the political spectrum. For the side that wants to push away the Democrats from being so partisan on the Democratic side and make them more moderate, and the hard Republicans, and actually Republicans in general, that don't want Democrats winning in future elections, it's going to be extremely hard. Republicans may do very well at the statewide levels in the Midwest and states that have more condensed populations in big cities rather than dispersed across the state. But other than that, Republicans will have slim chances at winning again in general elections. Donald Trump was probably one of the few candidates that could actually win in a general election against a Democratic candidate as strong as Hillary Clinton. Thinking about that now, the Democratic Party is probably going to win in 2020, just because of the fact that Donald Trump is currently disapproved by a majority of voters that voted for him. Voters that voted in the 2016 general election, including some of his own base that's turned against him. And we only have 3 more years to go. We have 3 more years to go, and we're almost 6 months through it, and he's already around a 38% approval rating. That's not necessarily good news. Overall, you can recap on some of my points. I don't really know how to conclude this fully because I touched on a lot of subjects. But just looking at past county results, past election history, the Republican Party is probably going to have to focus on appealing to more minorities and different groups other than the white working class and the regular voting base that they normally appeal to, just because of changing demographics. If they are going to have any chance at winning landslides like they used to, or winning in general, they're going to have to flip states that went for Obama in 2016, and they're going to have to hold on to states that Trump kept in 2016, which is not likely to happen, just looking at the current data we have now. Thank you guys for watching this video. I know it was kind of all jumbled up and just me throwing out ideas out there, but again, thank you guys for watching, and comment below if you have any comments or questions about this video. Again, thank you guys for watching for the 3rd time. I'll see you all tomorrow.